I have some people that have been at the club for, a couple summers. Like a lot of them started maybe when they were in high school and they're in college now. And so I promoted them to shift leaders and they can kind of help oversee and mentor. So, I concentrate really heavily on how I mentor them so that they mentor these high school kids, the kids younger than them the same way. So it's just leading by example. But the point I was making was the board member was saying, she's like, I can see like how they emulate you when they just start to act like you and they're just calm, cool, and collected. I think that's a compliment I get from people a lot is I make them feel like just calm and cool and collected and no matter what stress is going on and make people feel welcome. And that's what I want them to do as well.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Private Club Radio Show podcast, the industry's choice for news, trends, updates, and conversations all in the world of private golf and country clubs. Whether you're a consummate professional or brand new to the industry, welcome. We are glad you're here. This is the show where we go over any and all topics related to private golf and country clubs. And today I'm chatting with Maggie Berrigan. She's the beach club manager at Westchester Country Club. I didn't realize how big of a facility in operation they have there. And so I was chatting with her about her whole career, what got her to where she's at managing the beach club and what that entails. Because I don't think you see beach club managers too often. And what I really enjoyed was prior to our conversation here, when her and I were chatting, she works a lot with the youths. I like youths. Youths are better. We're working with youths because a lot of the kids who work down at the beach are in high school and in college, and where a lot of people would complain at that point and talk negatively or down or just, these kids don't know how the work ethic. Instead of having anything like that, she was excited and just immediately there was no negativity. It was, no, I'm fortunate to be able to work with the kids at a young age where she can mold and kind of set an example of, how to be a good human. So it's instead of seeing it as a annoyance or anything, she sees it and makes it a way to teach and make everybody grow. And real quick, before we get to this episode, just want to say a quick shout out, quick thank you, quick shout out to some of our show partners. If you are interested at all in learning more about any of our show partners, hit them up, say hello, let them know you heard about us, heard about them, or are reaching out because of maybe an ad or a mention here on Private Club Radio. We have our friends, Kenneth Member Vetting, membervetting.com. If you're looking for fact-based member vetting where you can truly find your applicant's character and behavior, head on over to membervetting.com. Set up a call with Paul Dank and learn more about their innovative, confidential, and comprehensive applicant information gathering process that provides an unrivaled depth of information. And what it really does is just gives you all the information that allows you to make the most fully educated membership decisions possible. Because the traditional applications and background checks and credit checks, they don't do character. They don't get that. Kenneth does. So head on over to membervetting.com. You can also check out our other episodes of Member Vetting here on Private Club Radio. We have our friends, Golf Life Navigators, who have an amazing platform. Zillow meets eHarmony for golf enthusiasts. So people who are looking to move to the Sun Belt or anywhere in the country, they're looking for their dream ideal club. They input all the information, what they want to spend, what their amenities are, what's important to them, and it gives them what their dream club is. So if you would like to be a part of this platform or learn more about Golf Life Navigators, because it's advertising without advertising, marketing without marketing, because you're only getting paired and matched and connected with other people who meet exactly what your club offers, and that's what they're looking for, and that's what they match with. So it's really great. Head on over golflifenavigators.com. And we have Concert Golf Partners, boutique owner-operators of private golf and country clubs nationwide. If you or your club is looking for some recapitalization, head over to concertgolfpartners.com. Fill out the contact form, have a confidential phone call, and see if you guys are a good fit. Preserve your club's legacy, enhance your club's amenities, and see your membership thrive. That's concertgolfpartners.com. And we have myself, Denny Corby. There's excitement, there's mystery, also there's magic. It is the most fun member event night you and your club are going to have. The Denny Corby experience. There's magic, mind reading, comedy, crowd work. From the moment people show up to the time the show is over, it is engaging. It's fun. It's a night they're not going to forget. Everything from just a strictly adults night out to some clubs making it a big fun family event. Want to learn more? Head on over to dennycorby.com. Enough about us and the ads here. Let's welcome to the show Beach Club manager Maggie Berrigan. What a fun background. You've been in hospitality your entire career, right?
Yeah, my whole life, basically. Like when I was, how old was I? Like 12, 13. I mean, like really young. My mom's best friend had a catering company, and I used to like work in the kitchen, like work in the back of house, like doing prep stuff. Just like she was like helping him out, and I would help out. And never, I tried to leave a couple times, and then somehow it just sucks you right back in. But
Was there anything you learned back then that still sticks with you at all? Like, was there any like sayings, phrases, or any just like little like tips and tricks you learned at that age, just like working in the back of house, like in the roots, just in it? Is there anything you like picked up that still to this day you're like, that was a good
I,
tip?
yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like a tip. It's just like the work ethic that of watching the people around me and how hard they worked and how much fun they had while they were doing it. I think that's what really attracted me to the industry. And I started working in restaurants like when I was in high school, and I worked in restaurants in college, and then I started working at a club in college, a private club in college, and that's what, you get to see the same people every day and talk to the same people, and that's what drove me to like stay within this private club industry, this sector of it. So I think it's just the work ethic. That's what keeps me in it.
Where'd you grow up?
South Carolina, small town.
Okay,
It's called Lancaster. It's like right below Charlotte, so it's like basically a suburb of Charlotte, North Carolina.
gotcha. And then how'd you get linked up with the Augusta,
Yeah,
with the
so
Masters?
with the Masters, yeah, that was so much fun. I They recruit a lot from University of South Carolina, which is where I went. We had a great relationship, or they have a great relationship with our professor there. Her name is Kathy Gustafson. She's retired since now, but I think actually, I don't know what's the name of the GM there. His name is escaping me. And
Yep,
now that I said
him.
it, yeah, him, that guy. I think he went to USC, and a couple other people also went to USC. So I went down there. I interviewed. A lot of my friends ended up working. And I actually I can't remember what position I interviewed for, but they're like, hey, how about you have like, experience serving tables. So why don't you work on the terrace? And I was like, yeah, sure. I didn't know what the terrace was. It turned out I was working on the 18th hole for the area. Only people that could dine there were members and players. So it was pretty wild. It's all tables of like round tables of six, and there's two managers there, and they're just basically seating anybody anywhere. So you can have like Arnold Palmer sitting there with a friend, and then you're just, Joe Schmo's coming to sit with him, and you're just constantly moving around. And it was crazy. Just the amount of people that would go through the doors during a 4-hour lunch period. It was a lot of fun though. Great experience.
You're pretty involved in the yoga world too, right?
Yes. Yeah. I've been teaching for, this is my 10th year teaching.
10th.
10th,
Oh,
10th
snap.
year. Yeah. I taught full time took a little break from the industry in 2014, 2015. And part of 2016, was teaching full time down in Charleston, moved to LA for a little bit, but just wasn't, I don't know. One, you don't get paid a lot of money teaching yoga. So that was certainly something. But I miss the industry, and now I still teach like part time now, and it keeps me a little bit grounded.
What was there anything in that time period or just anything with yoga that you've been able to bring over to the hospitality, the club world, the management side? Because yoga is very fluid in movement, and sometimes I feel like
Hmm.
clubs are more rigid and not. So I think it's a funny
Yeah.
like mesh there.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I bring it into my, I'd say I bring it to my everyday life, my yoga. I think the important part is yoga is so, it's a physical practice, right? But there's so many different elements to yoga. So you want to live your life off the mat the way you live it on your mat. So how you practice is how you live. And, in the club industry, every day you're challenged by, maybe your staff, or maybe it's a member or a board member or a committee. And how can you like take a deep breath, pause before you react to something? I think that's probably the number one thing that I brought to my everyday career, is just taking a pause.
Tell us about the unique. To me, I think it's a unique position that you're in now, beach
Yeah.
club manager. That
Hmm.
sounds so much fun.
Yeah. It's very, I mean, I get to walk around in sneakers and sunglasses all day long. And it's probably the favorite part of my job, is getting to wear sneakers and run around. I mean, I'm outside all day long. the members are just it's a different environment, right? Like even from our main club, which is, there's the golf course and there's, the racket sports and there's the gym there, and it's much more formal at the main club. But when people come down to the beach club, there's no dress code whatsoever, pretty much. They can wear t-shirts, they can wear jeans, they can wear cutoff jeans, they can wear pretty much whatever they want, like I said, but they're more relaxed. They're in a better mood sometimes when they come down to the beach club, and I get to just walk around. People are hanging out at the bar, and all I do basically is just walk around. I check on my staff. I get to check on members. We do have like one formal restaurant at the beach club, so it's, a little more, you can't wear jeans and you have to wear a collar shirt, but for the most part, it's just a casual atmosphere. And we'll see anywhere. I think on 4th of July, we had just about 2,000 people there, which was pretty wild. Lots of people running around, and we did probably our highest numbers we've ever done at the club. So it was.
Really?
I feel like I'm still recovering today from it. Today's Monday.
No,
4 days later.
It's a lot of peopling. That's a lot
It,
of peopling.
it is. And it's very big. The beach club is 62 acres. So I mean, I probably walk 15 to 30,000 steps a day, just depending on how busy we are. So I'm just walking back and forth. And like, sometimes I need to get from like this part of the club to this part of the club in a very short amount of time. Like I need a segue, and then you get stopped every 5 minutes for someone like just wanting to chat, or like, oh, my chicken sandwich was burnt, or whatever it might be, or they just
Yeah.
want to stop and chat with me for a few minutes. Sometimes it's so hard to get like down to where I'm going. But by the time I get to where I'm going, I'm like, I don't know why I'm here. So it's a lot of that.
Yeah, you definitely need a golf cart. No, Westchester
Would be
Country
nice.
Club. So what else is going on there? I forgot that it's so many aspects to it.
Yes. 3 golf courses, well, two 18-hole golf courses, a 9-hole executive course. We have the sports house, which houses a gym, an indoor pool. This is all the main club. Squash house. We have, oh gosh, I think how many tennis courts we have. 24 tennis courts, I think. I think about 24. 6 to 8 paddle courts. We're almost finished with our pickleball courts. I think they just painted the line, so those will be ready, I think, within the next couple of days. 2 ballrooms, a hotel with 40 guest rooms, residences. We have 40 guest rooms, and we have 40 member apartments with about 60 members living on property. What else do we have? Giant driving range, golf simulators.
Okay, what don't you
Yeah,
have?
I know. Yeah, not much. We don't have padel. I don't know that people are like, oh, you got to get padel now. I'm like, oh my God, another racket sport. But yeah, we have a lot of everything.
That's pickleball where you can it's the whole room, right? It's
I think
just
it's the
everything
whole
is
room.
like fair game, no matter
Yeah,
where the ball hits. Like
I'm
it's
pretty sure. I've like seen people play it like on like my husband showed me some videos on YouTube with it. And I think there's a padel court here in Connecticut somewhere, but yeah, I think it's in glass. And you're just like the ball's coming at you from everywhere. But
just
like,
fair. It never stops.
yeah, it never
It's just
stops.
this
Yeah.
endless.
Yes.
And then what's usually funny is it has to be awkward to play because I've only seen it like watching from like a second level down. Like it
Yeah.
has to be so intimidating just to have
Yeah.
like all these in like a little box, all these
Balls
eyes just
flying at
staring.
you.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that
just all
too.
these
Yes.
people just staring as well.
Yeah.
Um, so how many employees total are at Westchester?
In height of the season, we're just under 1,000, I would say. Yeah. So about 3-ish hundred of those are at the beach club, all seasonal
Wow.
employees. And just about out of that 300, I would say probably 250 are like high school, college age kids. So between the
And you're responsible for
lifeguards,
all of them.
I don't have to so much oversee the lifeguards, thank God.
Okay.
But yeah, all food and beverage, front house, back of house. Yeah, that falls under my purview.
Now I remember when we first chatted briefly, uh, and we started talking about this, and I was like, that's a lot of students. And you stopped me and made a point, and you said you actually enjoy it because you can be you can be in a position to teach these kids because they are so young and so malleable that you can train them to be good people. And
Yeah.
that's why I really wanted to chat too. I was like, oh, that was such a good, it's such a good point of view because so many people, and it is so easy to go like, oh, it's these kids these days, you know,
Oh yeah.
like, because like I know I find myself saying stuff too, but like just that narrative and that frame of mind and that mindset, I just loved. Can you touch more on that?
Yeah, for sure. Because I feel like I've heard it so many times referred to as like, I think we're the same age, like our generation. Like maybe the boomers were like, oh, millennials this and millennials that. And I don't want to ever fall victim to just looking at kids because I was in that position too. We were all like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 once, like just being, I wouldn't say dumb kids. It's just you don't know like how to necessarily act in the workplace or in society, right? But no, I love the kids that work for me. I try my best to like lead by example with them. I even have like a board member I was talking to the other day, and she was commenting. She was like, "It's so nice to see," because I have like shift leaders. I have some people that have been at the club for a couple summers. Like a lot of them started maybe when they were in high school, and they're in college now. And so I promoted them to shift leaders, and they can kind of help oversee and mentor. So I concentrate really heavily on how I mentor them so that they mentor these high school kids, the kids younger than them the same way. So it's just leading by example. But the point I was making was the board member was saying she's like, I love I can see like how they emulate you when they just start to act like you and they're just calm, cool, and collected. I think that's a compliment I get from people a lot is I make them feel like just calm and cool and collected and no matter what stress is going on and make people feel welcome. And that's what I want them to do as well. And know how to care for people. And I remind my staff too all the time, like, hey, we're not here. This is not a hospital. We're not saving lives. We're not curing cancer here. Not to demean what we do for a living, but at the same time, like, take a breath. Like, it's at the end of the day, it's not all that serious, but I still want you to care about what you're doing. So,
I do want to go on the record for a second time saying you are saving lives
yeah,
because Alfredo, I have the episode out with Alfredo, and he said we're not saving lives. And normally I would agree, but
yeah,
think about some people like mental health is a big thing,
that's true.
and you don't know people are coming in, they might not be in the right, but because you and the team are so nice and friendly, you
Yeah.
know it
No,
just
that's a
made
good
their
point.
day. Or like you don't like and then even like an employee I was talking,
Oh, yeah.
it could be an employee could be happy to have culture, like, oh, a good place, and they're happy
Yep.
to have but no, that was just, but no, I totally get it 100%.
Yeah.
what
No, I
what
agree
are
with you with that.
some what are some so like as be like what's a day in the life at the beach club of you, beach club manager? What are some of your KPIs? What are your when things are firing, just like this past weekend,
Yeah.
what was that like for you?
I mean, I can refer to like the 4th of July was our Super Bowl, as we call it. So it's like the height of summer for us. We knew we were expecting it, and there's no reservations necessarily for the club. So you don't really know what to
Black
expect.
Friday, you're just opening the
Yes.
doors and just whatever rolls in.
Yeah, I mean, we all got there at like 7 in the morning and the club opens at 10, but like 9:15 people are walking in. I'm like, what are they doing here? And they're like, they're going to reserve chairs and we do like this swimming race at 10 o'clock. So like, I mean, they were getting there a little bit early to do that, to get ready for that. But I was like, oh my God, they're all here already. But normal day, I mean, like there's no normal days, I would say, but I'm coming in. My days start I usually have like a morning. I have like my best crew come in at 9 o'clock before the club opens to do all the little things like open the umbrellas and put out our napkin holders, put out our condiments so that I can roll in a little bit later. Because if I don't like take care of myself, then I can't take care of anybody else. So I work out or I do yoga or something like along those lines, and then I head to work. Um, Usually just check in with my management team, make sure everybody's got what they need to get the day started. Sometimes we do like on the 4th, we were doing a grill station on the beach, so having our maintenance team help me set up these grills on the beach, and we made some really cool banners and making sure I have 2 interns as well, so they help me with all of our branding and our signage and food signage, and we have these cool surfboards we painted of a chalk paint, and we can paint details on them, upcoming events or what the station entails. But just making sure all those things are in place, making sure everybody showed up to work. I will say it's been a great summer I've never had, even last summer, I'd never had anybody not show up to work, which I think says a lot for the program that we're putting out. People want to come to work. So,
Yeah.
and getting the team excited, making sure all our decorating was done for the 4th. The day was such a blur. Oh my God. And it's like a 17-hour day, and I can barely tell you what we did that day, but it was just like a lot of running around and making sure things are in place, making sure people showed up. And, we had a lot of meetings prior to the day and making sure people knew exactly what to expect, and making sure our staff for their first summers knew what the day was going to entail, and grill stations. And we do like a Hoffman 500. So there's like a swimming race, it's 500-meter swimming race. So making sure that team, the aquatics team handles that. And we have an egg toss game the day of. What other games do we have? Tug of war, big thing. Everybody shows up for
That
tug of war.
that is fun to watch.
Oh yeah, right on the beach. But it's a normal day is it's just me making sure people are in place and having do they have what they need. This summer's been terrible with our refrigeration systems. We're literally right on the water, so salt air is constantly coming in. So I spend a lot of time walking around checking refrigerators. To be honest, that's a very big part of my job is checking equipment, making sure things are working, calling our service providers to come in. So it's just checking things and being a support system for my chef. My chef's been there at the club for many years. He's been with Westchester for 30 plus years. The beach club about
Wow.
50, yeah, he's been the executive chef at the beach club for about 15 years. So I spent a lot of time with him, coming up with new ideas. We do stations on the weekends. Yeah.
How many executive chefs do you have for the club? Two?
So for the club itself, we have an executive chef, and he came to the club. Kind of the management team. We all came in together for the most part, and our executive chef Carrie came in just a little bit after we all started. So he came in with us. So he oversees both properties. We have an executive
Gotcha.
chef at the beach club. Our formal restaurant at the beach club has its own chef, and then the main club there is an executive chef at the Sports House, which is our restaurant at the main club. And then there's a banquet chef. We have an executive chef de cuisine. We have a big back house team, big team.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Since you've been there, are there any, I'll say innovations, any like innovations or changes that, you've implemented that you're proud of?
Yeah. Let me think. I mean, it's really nice. I have
Brag. Come
member.
on, brag.
Yeah, I
You know
know.
there's
Yeah.
something. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, like we get very creative. Like every Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the beach club, we have a different food station. So Fridays, we typically have like a big lobster station, which has been going on the club for quite some time. Saturdays, we've been trying to get a little more creative. This past weekend, we did a soft shell crab station. It was a huge, huge, huge hit with the members. They've never done that before. Sundays, we usually do pasta stations. I've just done a lot of like redesigning of like a lot of our branding. A lot of our menus just looked a little bit tired at the beach club, so I redid all the menus. This year I added an element in our snack bar called the Glover Reef Cafe. So I got a new espresso machine. So we have a huge coffee program, frappuccinos, refreshers. I mean, I think we're better than Starbucks, but I will say so
Not
myself.
hard to be.
Yeah, right. But we're doing like protein smoothies. We're doing fruit smoothies for the
Ooh.
kids. Yeah, I got a
Like
cold press.
actual like good style like protein
Yes.
shakes that are like it's not just because like and I'm just
Fruits.
saying because like it's easy to be like, oh, they're protein, but it's like or
Yeah.
like but it's super high like, are they actually like there's like they're well crafted drinks, beverages?
Well crafted protein. I have one with like a cold brew one, which is my favorite. A lot of people like that. It's got like cold brew in it and banana.
What?
There's a chocolate protein powder. Frozen avocado makes it really creamy too.
Ooh,
Chia
ooh,
seeds. I wanted to do peanut butter,
ooh.
but we do no nuts at the beach. So we have a lot of kids with allergies, so I can't do any nuts. Nothing with peanut butter, nothing with almond milk or anything like that. But yeah, and cold pressed juices, that was a big thing we added to this year. But that program's been like a huge hit this year. Last year we added a permanent pizza oven outside, which is open
Ooh.
6 days a week. Yeah, wood. Well, it does wood fire, but we have a propane. But it's a huge, huge hit. I mean, last year we sold. I mean, just this little station alone, I think we sold, how many pizzas did we sell? I know it was like $70,000 worth of pizzas. I can't remember how many pizzas that is, but it was a lot of pizza, a whole lot of pizza.
It's a lot of dough.
It's a lot of dough. It's a lot of dough. Yes.
Come
And
on,
yeah, they love it.
we're gonna be
They
here all
love it.
night.
Yes.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
So you have your pizza and you have your protein smoothies and your fruits and your cold pressed green juices. So, we like to have a little bit of balance.
Wow. What
I,
what other cool
yeah.
like that's wild. That's
Yeah.
wild. So
I think the
that's
moms
so
are really
cool.
happy this year. We had those frozen icy machines like a 7-Eleven. We
Yeah.
had we had when I got rid of that. I think the moms like loved me after that. So that was a big thing. Getting rid of that. The kids hate me, but they're like, "Where's the icy machine?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's broken."
Why'd you get rid of it? Was it time? Was it old? Was it
It was,
complaints?
yeah, partly parents were like, "This thing is just all sugar." I'm like, I totally agree. Partly it was constantly breaking, and the service was out of New Jersey, and we could never get them to come up. It would break, and then I would have it. No one would come up for like 3 to 4 weeks, and so like it just wasn't worth trying to keep that
Gotcha.
program going. We have lots of ice cream though. The kids are fine. Don't worry. There's plenty of sweet treats for them.
Gotcha. And was it
Yeah.
like self-serve, like they can just go up and get it themselves, or was it like a
Yes,
charge?
it was a self-serve. Yeah, self-serve, but it was in our
Ah,
snack bar. So like, I mean, you had to pay for it, but kids would walk up and, they tip their head back. And like, I constantly catch kids doing that, like just right into their mouth. So yeah, I was pretty
when given
happy.
the opportunity, I
Oh,
mean, how do you
yes.
not,
Yeah. As
especially
a
at a place where
10-year-old. Yeah.
and you, and at a where you know you're not going to get in trouble at like the club, like like
Yeah.
like they know they can push the limit a little bit. Like they,
Oh, yeah.
these kids aren't dumb.
And then we have this snack bar. You walk into this area, and it's so busy, and so sometimes it's hard to like keep up with like the kids running around. There's so many kids running around. You don't know who's who. We have 1,600 member families. So anyway, yeah, they know they can push the limit a little bit. So it's a lot of
That's
that.
uh,
Yeah.
any cool ways, strategies you use to motivate your teams? I mean, I know because kids are kids Utes are a
Yeah.
unique breed. How do you motivate that age group? Like, how do you like what's your style? What's your vibe? Like, how do you
Yeah.
get them
I
going?
mean, a big thing I like to do is I just listen to them. And this goes really in part with like the young ladies and young men who are my shift leaders. Is we do a weekly meeting with them, and we go around and I talk to them kind of about maybe some things that I'm seeing that we can improve on, and some of our wins. You always want to give them the wins too. And then I just listen to them like, hey, what ideas do you have? And they usually have some really great ideas for how to improve. And like I can kind of, I listen to them talking to the staff and like speaking kind of in my tone or in my, like I hear myself a little bit, and then I'm like, oh my God, that's so nice. Like, I motivate them with gift cards with Employee of the Week. I think that's a big thing.
What's
We do.
what does that program look like, or what does that little motivator like?
Yeah.
What's that all look like?
Yeah. So any manager, supervisor can nominate someone for Employee of the Week. And we'll do like, between the whole club, between like we have our maintenance staff, our front of house staff, our back of house staff, and aquatic staff. We'll do like probably 5 to 10 kids a week or kids or employees that we nominate for Employee of the Week. And they get a nice little plaque. They get recognized in front of their department, and we give them like a gift certificate. Just a way to
How much
like,
is that usually for?
uh, like $25 to $30, I think there are. Our members have an opportunity as well to go onto our website, and they can give a 5-star review to an employee. And that happens a lot. And
Oh,
when
that's
they do
cool.
that, yeah, when the members
So
do
like
that,
on their phones, like there's like through like the app they could.
yeah, they could do it on the app. They can go right on the website. We make it really easy, so they can go on, give a 5-star review for an employee, and then that employee gets like $100 Visa gift card, and they also get a plaque, and they get recognized. And we put that out into our employee newsletter too. So
And
we
you have
try.
just an employee newsletter.
Yeah, we do. We have
I
I
was
think it
gonna.
comes out bi-monthly. Yeah, bi-monthly newsletter with our wins. We do an employee of the quarter. We do an all hands meeting every couple months. The entire company is invited for lunch. And Mark, our executive director, he gives a really wonderful speech, and we recognize probably 2 employees for the quarter as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is fun.
Yeah. So lots of recognition, lots of
Yeah.
listening. We do like, employee ice cream day. We get food trucks. We have a big employee party on August 12th. We actually close the beach club for the day, and all the employees can come and actually enjoy the beach club and swim in the pool, hang out on the beach. We cook lunch for them. Last year was Peter, our director of operations, grilling, and he was grilling. I was cheesing the burgers. I don't, it was a lot, but, for 400 people, but it was a lot of fun. We had a good time doing it. So we're going to
Yeah.
do it again this year.
That's neat.
Yeah.
How do you gather with that many people? Like, how do you get good feedback? Because clearly you do that well. How do you get good feedback from your staff and also from your members?
We do employee surveys. We haven't done one in a little while, but we did one at the end of last season. We don't get a whole lot of people responding to it, which is always just, I would love if we got more of a response last season.
Give them gift cards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to fill them out. No, it's such a good idea. Um, I'm just trying to think. I use hot schedules to communicate with my staff. I like to send out lots of, little notes to them. Like, after the 4th, it was, I sent them a nice note about, it was such a hard day for everybody. And that day too, I broke everybody, and nobody had to work unless they wanted to, a double. So they all could either enjoy maybe dinner with their family or enjoy the 4th, with their family in the morning or in the evening. So they weren't working a full day. But I mean, just getting feedback from them it can be tough, but we have a really wonderful our department's called People and Culture Department. So we're in a search right now. I think they're narrowing it down to a couple candidates, but we're getting ready to hire a new People and Culture director, which would be great. We had a wonderful person she was there for about a year, she really revamped that department. So, and she left for a different opportunity, but we're looking forward to, someone stepping into that role and hopefully, again, doing some surveys for our employees. We're very heavy we have a lot of H-2B visa holders that come to Westchester. So we try our best to take care of them exponentially. So last year we got a lot of feedback. We got feedback from them on our housing. So we spent a ton of money this year revamping our housing, which is at the main club, and redoing the rooms and getting new furniture and just giving it a refresh. And that was really, really well received. So I think it went a long way. We had a lot of returning employees from that program.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of managers maybe don't utilize technology as well as they could. There's so many different wonderful programs out there, but but I talk about this stuff all the time though. It's like, I love, I get on, people all the time, like, they're using like Excel for their scheduling. I'm like, Excel, why are you using Excel? Like, the hot schedules is like $100 a month. Like, and you can you can get all your budget. You can put your budget in there. You can put, you can see all your numbers and see your weekly spend, your weekly hours. So I think it's a huge program that I use it all the time.
So it's for scheduling employees. You put all the info in, and what? So it'll just say like, oh, like, I know Mary can't work this, and so it just knows, and so it uses AI, I'm assuming, and whatever the algorithm works. You put in everything, and it helps you schedule.
Yeah, you can set people's availability. You can set parameters like, don't schedule this person more than 20 hours a week. You put in their pay rate, so it'll calculate, what you're spending in the week, which huge for us. I spent a lot of time working on budgeting and working on payroll, making sure my numbers are in line. It's a big part of my job. So I love hot schedules, big proponent of it.
Who is that, like an app? What is that?
It's owned by Fourth. I don't know if you know that company, but they're like buying up everything. So they bought People Matter, which was actually out of Charleston, South Carolina, which was like an HR tech company. But they bought a lot of different companies. But hot schedules, yeah, love it. Highly recommend it.
Good trends, bad trends you're seeing in the club space, trends you want to see more of, less of, anything you want to get on a pedestal?
Yeah. Plenty of pedestals here. I see the trend of a lot of managers or people in our industry, like, and it's such a thing in hospitality in general, like, not taking great care of their health. And I've seen that in restaurants. I've seen that in clubs. I've seen it I didn't work in hotels, but I'm sure it exists in hotels. But, what are we around all day long in our industry? Like, a lot of alcohol, probably some other things that go on too that, it's not as widely talked about. But I had a problem too. And like, in our chapter for a while, it felt like a lot of our educations were centering around alcohol, or there was alcohol at everything. I'm like, do we have to, can I learn about, club trends or HR without having a wine lunch associated with it, which I think it's a wonderful way to, get together. I do drink, but, in a social matter, not that much. But just people just taking that great care of themselves. I think if you're not taking care of yourself, then how can you come in and take care of your employees or take care of your members or do your job to the best of your ability if you're hungover or if you're under the influence or whatever that may be. So I think that's something that, and of course, I think we've all met all of us. Maybe we have all been there at some point or another, where I remember a time where I was, younger in my 20s, and I look back and I'm like, wow, I was like, partying a lot. And then I was going to work and I was wondering why I didn't perform at my best all the time. So I think that's something I've like really gotten into over the last couple of years, is just trying to take much better care of myself. And I find that I can go into work with a much more clear head and do my job better. So that's something I care about. But I will see people do talk about it more though, I think. There's like a more of a sober, curious, community out there. And I do love to go out with my girlfriends and like, have a bottle of wine or so, but I think it's a slippery slope. So
I think, no, thank you for sharing that. Cause I don't know when this is going to air and when the other one's going to air, but at some point, who, what, where, when, why, it might be before or after, doesn't matter. But, I just chatted with, Joe, Mendez, and that's, his big thing. We've connected over that. And, that's what our episode is about, mental health and like sobriety.
yeah,
Cause that's his
I've
thing, and
seen
he's
him talk
taught
a lot
that.
about that a
Yeah.
lot. Mm-hmm.
So he opened up to us about it, and shared some stories and things. But I think it's because there's nothing to do, because it's profitable, and that's what pays the bills for things.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you? So it's just, I think it's a cultural thing. It's it's like, oh
It
well, it's like,
it
where are you gonna
totally is,
go?
and
And then
we're
like, and you can't just
yeah.
sit there. You got to
Yes.
buy
Yeah.
something. So you can't just like sit there and play like the adult arcades, like,
Yeah.
or like whatever. So it's yeah, yeah,
What do they call it? Like we're missing like our generation's like what I think they call it like a third place. Like that's not work, that's not home. It's a place that you can go. Like even like coffee shops aren't like I mean there are coffee shops around, but
yeah,
not as well. And it's like a Starbucks. My husband and I were in Mexico. When did we go? In February. Went down to Guadalajara, and it's just like the culture there. The coffee culture there is so huge. There's like more cafes than bars, and like not serving alcohol. They're just a place you can go and you can sit, and no one's like rushing you out. And
yeah,
we just thought it was like so interesting to see that culture and how it's not everything is so centered on alcohol. So in that
yeah.
particular area. So
More to explore there,
yeah, for sure. I
and
think
maybe
just taking.
and that's
Go
what
ahead.
maybe that's what the club is. Maybe that's what our maybe that's what the generation is trying to get clubs at too. It's the way clubs are moving and coming a
Yeah.
place of that third thing.
Yes, exactly. And they're 100%. There's people that are there, probably more than they're at their own homes, which is wonderful. They feel comfortable there, and maybe they're having a drink, or maybe they're just there to like, especially at the beach club, people just come and hang out and relax, and not necessarily are, having a cocktail. But again, it's like I think it's just not necessarily focus on alcohol so much. It's just like taking care of yourself. I think is
Yep.
so important.
And just being conscious of
Yeah.
the choice of what you can put into your body, that like just even like if like me and my wife were try to be more conscious of our health and things, especially as we get older. And I had a back injury, and just like knowing like luckily I kept a little good, keep a little good shape, because the injury could have been down a lot worse. But
Yeah.
I dropped in about like a year. It dropped my cholesterol like 80 points,
Oh,
and then
congrats.
like the past couple of months, like dropped like 15 pounds. It's just like conscious, just if we're going to go out to like a Ruth Chris or something, like, hey, don't put the butter on, like just
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
butter. Or just
Exactly.
like, hey, I'll just get the grilled chicken, you don't got to marinate in butter, just
Yeah.
grill the chicken, put it on the plate, just give me some
Yes.
good veggies, put it on the plate. Like,
Yep.
there's times to enjoy, but like for the most part, you don't need to douse stuff in oil, you don't need a bunch of
No,
butters. Like
not
it's like
all the
little
time.
things. Because man, those fat and carbs sneak up on you fast,
Oh,
man,
they do,
and
and it's
everything's
just
loaded.
it is for me. It's the sugar. Like I have such a sweet tooth, so I have to like really be mindful about.
Ooh.
And I'm at the beach club, so it's like, oh, let me go. I'll go check out. We have a little ice cream shop, not a little. It actually is little, but
Oh,
small but mighty. I will call her. But I'll like, oh, let me go check in the girls. Oh, like, I better make sure the soft serve machine is working. So
gotta make sure that ratio
yeah,
is flowing lean.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So, but I usually get like the little kid cup. It's about yay big, and just a little bit in there. I'm like, okay, satisfies me enough. So.
The first step is admitting.
Yes, I am not in denial about it. So,
When the kids in the working there be like, get out,
yes,
get out,
yes, yes.
Maggie,
Well, well,
you're cut off today.
they know when I'm coming over. They're like, "Oh yeah, should we get it ready?"
That's really funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. But no, thank you for coming on. Thanks for
No,
sharing. It was a
thanks.
fun
Thanks.
conversation.
Yeah.
There's not too many beach club managers, so I thought that was also pretty cool too. So
No, we're a small group, but we gotta stick together. Small but mighty. But thank you. Thanks for having me.
thank you, Maggie, for coming on. Really appreciate it. Hope you all enjoyed that episode. I know I did. Love just learning different perspectives, different people, different positions, different stories. Oh, all so good. If you are enjoying the content, the stories, make sure you give a 5-star review with a comment on whatever platform you are consuming on. If you aren't signed up for our newsletter, privateclubradio.com, head on over there. Get some early access to some episodes and some content we don't always announce publicly. And that's this episode. I'm your host, Denny Corby. Until next time, catch you on the flippity flip.